Hi, welcome back to the latest video. We are covering My Romance Academia, or should I rather say My Hero Academia. These past two chapters have been really heavily focused on the love triangle that is Ochako, Deku, and Toga, and I think within chapter 348 with the spoilers that just came out, I think we finally come to a conclusion, although dilapidated, nonetheless a conclusion. If you're new to this channel or in fact just watching, please subscribe if you haven't already, because believe it or not, the majority of y'all are not subscribed, and it means the world for me for y'all to support my content and support my channel. Now that we got all the YouTube spiel out of the way, let's hop right into the chapter leaks of chapter 348 of My Hero Academia. So the chapter begins with the narration saying that even though Deku is the current one-for-all user who plays a vital role in this war, and even though he has come face to face with Toga numerous times, he has never realized her feelings. He has always been and will always be a nerd. At this point, we see him repeating the word boyfriend and getting very nervous. So I don't actually think he's come face to face with Toga as many times as it lets on. It says numerous times, so that word is pretty variable. I think it's been 3 times, and at different points, Toga wasn't even actually using her own body. She was using her quirk to disguise herself as someone else, but nonetheless. And it's interesting to see here that Deku, as we know, Deku is a nerd, and he probably doesn't have that much sense of girls, and so with him saying the word boyfriend over and over again, he's getting pretty nervous. A girl likes him, my god. But by the way, Deku, Ochako also likes you. But, you know, this is a story about heroes, not about romance, although these chapters would make you think that the story has taken a different turn, to say the least. Toga says that she fell in love with him the first time they saw each other because he was covered in blood and looked like her first love from school. She says that Izuku is very cool and asks to drink his blood to become like him while smiling in a creepy way. Deku says that instead lovers should go to amusement parks together, hold hands, and share crepes. What a love story. Toga replies that for her, liking means wanting to become that person, and that alone is enough for her. The Nomu strikes again and a huge wave rushes towards Toga. While being covered by water, she asks, "Hey heroes, what do you want to do to me?" Uraraka remembers that this is the same question she asked in the previous war. Deku says he doesn't know yet. He used to think he had to get strong like All Might, so he understands Toga's mindset. She asks why he opposes her despite this, and he replies that he never wanted to hurt the people he admires. Toga and Deku do share the same wavelength of wanting to be like those they admire and those they love, but obviously to different extremities. Deku wants to emulate All Might within his heroism, but Toga literally wants to become those she loves. Toga's version of love, as we've mentioned before, clearly has some instability regarding it. It isn't the traditional love that you or I would know, that like we love our mom, we love our girlfriend, we love our friends. Hers is more of an obsession, a desire to become something else, which really does stem from her really uprooted childhood and the fact that she was never able to truly have that love from someone else. An authentic love. I think the only person who loved her and treated her like family was Twice, and Twice isn't here anymore, and so since Twice's death, I feel like she's been spiraling in and out of control, questioning everything about herself, her views of being a villain, and what the entire society is expecting of her and if she's redeemable. The chapter then says Toga smiles in a more controlled way, as if she was upset by the answer. She remembers her parents' scoldings, what Curious told her, and Ochako telling her she must face the consequences of her actions. She says that they are all the same and that they only consider heroes and those who are protected by them to be the real people. She puts on her mask and moves towards them. She tries to hit Deku multiple times, but Deku defends himself. That's when Ochako arrives, grabs her, and they both roll away. She says that she has been thinking about Toga since the two met, but Toga replies that she no longer thinks about Ochako. My god, only about Izuku. If the world turns against her, she will also turn against the world. We see that the ends of her needle threads are equipped with some type of propulsion system, and it looks like they're going to attack Ochako, but Toga herself takes advantage of this chance to attack herself. She says she was hoping to be understood by Uravity since the two of them are so similar. So some really notable things. Symbolically and literally, she puts on her mask and moves towards Deku and Uraraka. She tries to be this villain, this one who's going to hurt other people, but at the end of the day, she is someone who kind of resents herself, hates herself. It's honestly heartbreaking to see Toga, a human at the end of the day, despite her villainous acts, despite what she's done, Obviously, a lot of it is irredeemable, but nonetheless, she's still a young teen, and she says that if the world turns against her, she will also turn against the world. And it makes this moral conundrum of, if the world rejects you, can you in turn reject the world within good faith? Are your actions justified if you're merely protecting your own identity, if you're protecting yourself? It's a gray area, and if we put ourselves in her shoes, I can understand that if the world rejects you, you reject the world. The same way with Attack on Titan, which is pretty relevant right now. Eren said, if someone tries to take my freedom, I'll take theirs first. We've known since Uraraka and Toga were introduced to each other, they did have some parallels, and here we see Toga thought that Ochako could understand her, she could be the one to do it since they're so similar, but she didn't. The chapter then says, at this point, Sue appears and saves her friend, hitting Toga with the high jump kick. Deku asks if Uraraka is okay, and she replies that the cut wasn't deep. Sue says that Toga is the most unpredictable enemy, so sending her to an isolated island was indeed the best decision. At the same instant that Sue hit the blow, Deku captured Toga with Black Whip, but Froppy says he needs to go. He shouldn't be wasting time with love confessions. My god, someone who actually gets it. The plan said that Toga must be defeated by Ochako with her and the others' hero support, so they will handle it. Deku then removes the Black Whip, and Uraraka asks him to stop Shigaraki. He remembers the conversation they had in front of Troy and seems a little apprehensive, but Uraraka tells him to do his best. Toga gets up and says that living is too hard, that even though she loves him so much, this is how she's treated. Uraraka yells once more for him to go, and Deku starts to run. I do have some slight issues within this. I do have some slight questions. It seems that the fights that are taking place, the plan of the heroes, they are so specific, and I'm not sure if Horikoshi is just intending to make this really streamlined without the unpredictability that fights have, but I'm confused why this plot element was just set up with Deku being involved here, only for Toga to confess, and now Deku to leave once more, because according to the plan, Ochako and Sue and the others will handle it. It makes me wonder why this was brought to the surface and why this development happened within chapter 347 and 348. If Deku is not going to be handling this situation, that instead he just gets thrown this information and now has to leave so the others can handle it. Nonetheless, despite Horikoshi speeding this up, I really do anticipate Toga eventually using Sadman's Parade from Twice's Blood. We know Twice and Toga had a really familial connection with each other, and it seems now coming to the conclusion with this final fight, it seems that it's building up to her using this ability, but at the same time, Toga has always admired Deku, not because of him just aesthetically looking like her classmates, but all the moments of admiration she had was towards him being a hero. So in my headcanon, what Toga needs more than anything is a hero in her own life, someone to accept her, someone to show her love and show her that it's okay being different, although she's subjected to this quirk that makes her have a really unique and societally unacceptable bloodlust. You can control that, you can be loved, you can be redeemed. Also within this chapter, on the bright side of things, it was absolutely adorable that Deku has this very kind of Western understanding of romance and how people should love each other, like they go to carnivals together and eat food together, which is really sweet, but unfortunately, Deku, you are not in a current place in this world where things like that can transpire, but at the same time, I feel like Deku and Uraraka by this point is confirmed. Uraraka's like, Deku, listen, I'll take care of Toga, you go do your thing, go save the world, and that moment gave me chills. Maybe one day at the conclusion of the series, Deku and Uraraka can do these things, but in the meantime, it's time to destroy the League of Villains, take down Shigaraki, and destroy All for One completely. This chapter was really good in and of itself. I really enjoyed seeing Toga's mindset, her struggling with depression and the acceptance of herself, and her as a result lashing out. I really do think once Twice died, Toga went down a spiral of emotions, and right now more than anything, she needs someone to prove to her that her life is worth living, that she can be something more than just simply a villain. Guys, if you enjoyed this chapter and want to see more videos on My Hero Academia and a various amount of other anime and manga subjects, please do consider dropping a subscription and letting me know in the comment section below what you thought of this chapter. As always, I hope you are all having a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and remember, be greedier.